record. Hi, how's it going?
Hi, Jesse. How you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
Josh, doing well. Happy Friday. Just
Thank
waiting
you.
on Josh. I just shot him a note with the link.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and then as soon as he jumps on, I'll go ahead and mute camera and mic, and you guys can just have at it.
Okay, sweet. Is it just him, or is there a band? When I talk to
No, just Josh.
okay, when I talk to, how do I say it? Is it Rupam?
Rupam.
When I talked to him, he had said something about like, oh, I'll send it off to the band, and I was like,
No, just Josh.
Well, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having him. We appreciate it.
Are you involved with Shine On as well?
No, I'm actually part of Josh's management team. So I'm with a company called Direct Artist Management, and we function as we do full service management for mix of musicians. We have some stand-up comics, and also some who are rooted in the digital media space.
Cool. All right. Well, and how are you today?
It's been a busy day, but you know what? It's been good. I got to work out in nice and early, and I'm very much camped out at my parents' right now.
Where are you? Where are you located right now?
Normally I'm in New York City, but right now I'm in Houston, just waiting for the rental market to just settle down.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you get to do less work on the weekends coming up?
Yeah, I get to chill a little bit.
It seems like somebody in your business might have still plenty to do on the weekend with musicians and stand-up comics and things.
You'd be surprised, but I very much make a point to do my best to unplug on the weekends when I can, and then if I absolutely if I have to pick up stuff on the weekends, then yeah, I'll get it knocked out.
Right. Nice.
Yeah. All right.
Pardon me while I sip on my coffee here.
No, you're good. Where are you located, by the way?
So I'm in Portland. I'm with a radio station called Freeform Portland here. It's an all volunteer station. And yeah, nice sunny day here. Good day.
Lovely. How's that weather treating you right now?
Well, now it's great. I mean, it's like a perfect October day, which means cool and clear. But it can be, the reputation for it being raining and nasty is true as well sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, let me nudge him one more time. Oh, he's just, there we go. He's just trying to come in.
Oh, right, here we go.
All right, hey Josh.
Hi Josh, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well, thank you. Thanks for doing this.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course.
Go ahead and mute and turn camera off. You guys are good to go.
All right, thanks, Cassie. All right, Josh, thanks for doing this. Where do I want to start? Where are you right now? I guess I'll start with that.
I'm in Orlando at the moment.
And you're from there, is that correct?
Yeah, I was born in Ocala, and then for like pretty much my whole life I've been bouncing back between Orlando and Gainesville.
Gainesville, far. Okay, I've been to Gainesville once. Well, I guess I just want to get started by asking how you got started in music. How did you? What's your origin story? I guess.
Yeah. Whenever I was whenever I was a kid, I was really into like Nirvana, Metallica, Slipknot, and all that. And right. I just like picked up a guitar, just started learning. I tried drums out first, but I wasn't very good at it. So I ended up going to the more like melodic route and everything. And from doing that, like I was about like 8 years old or so, like 8 to 10, like learning how to play music and stuff. And then when I was in high school, I started making electronic music, like EDM, dubstep, stuff like that. And that sort of turned into me working on rap beats, because like I had like the like musical inclination to like make beats and stuff already. And I had a few friends who like wanted to rap, and I like would make beats for them. And then I realized I was like, I kind of want to do this myself. And it just sort of turned into this crazy thing over the past few years.
Let's see. So let's see. I've heard quite a few stories of people who started with one instrument and switched to another, and or just decided like, wait, I could do this. So who are some inspirations for your flow? Because I was listening to some of your stuff last night, and well, I love the way you flow. So who are some of your inspirations?
Yeah, I mean, like whenever like the reason I started rapping was definitely because of Childish Gambino and Tyler the Creator.
Cool.
Those two artists are incredible in my opinion.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, the Because the Internet album by Childish Gambino and the Wolf album by Tyler, and even his latest album Igor is like, or the his second to last album Igor was fantastic.
Nice. Let's see. How did you get the business side of things going? Like, how did you go from a guy who's just starting to make beats and starting to rap to monetizing the process and getting all of that happening?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like doing it from like a very ground level, like learning as you go. Because whenever I started out, I was like 16, 17, and I had no idea how the money worked or any of that stuff.
Right.
And then like over years of doing it, I just sort of it's like a lot of hard lessons you have to learn along the process and everything. And I mean, if you pursue any sort of field and you start from the bottom, essentially, like you end up having to learn along the way. A lot of it has been very DIY, and like I'm
Right.
even still learning things like to this day about the financial side of it and all that.
Sure. Did you have help with the business side early on?
No, not at all. The closest thing to help I had was I had a local tax person help me pay my taxes. That was about it.
That's good. That's helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want the IRS on your ass.
No.
Let's see. How do you see? So I'm with this radio station. We are all about independent music or independent musicians such as yourself. How do you see yourself fitting in with the kind of wider world of independent music?
Yeah, it's definitely like a weird place for me in a way of like where I stand in the independent world. It's like very odd because I'm like out streaming labels and stuff, and I'm getting more exposure than a lot of artists who are signed to labels. And
Uh-huh.
I almost feel like a weird like middle child in the independent scene. It's like I'm somewhere between independent and mainstream,
Uh-huh.
if that makes sense. And
Yeah, I think so.
and the way how I operate within the independent world is a lot different than how a lot of independent artists do it. And like my hat's like definitely off to all independent artists. I think what they do is pretty much amazing. Like to tour and like go on the road with limited resources and to performing at smaller venues and building up an audience and doing all that really from the ground up. For my process, it was like everything has been online pretty much. Like
Uh-huh.
everything started online, and that's kind of like how I'm like comfortable as an artist is like whenever I started out, I was in high school, so I had no way to really get into the music scene, or like the local music scene, or play
Like
shows or
doing
anything.
live stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just doing it all from my bedroom, and that like so I never really had the opportunity to like do live shows wherever there's like maybe 15 people in the crowd, or like have to like network and build up on a local scale. Everything was just automatically global, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Right. Because you're using the internet to do it.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like with my standing in the independent world, like I definitely consider myself an independent artist, and I stand with all of those artists and everything. Like but it is also odd, just like having the success that I have, and trying to navigate it in a very like humble and headstrong way and smart way as well, to not mess it up.
Did major labels ever, I'm not sure quite how the labels in hip hop worked, but did major labels approach you at any time, or like?
Yeah, yeah.
Did-
I've talked to a lot of labels, and so far I haven't really heard anything that like appeals to me at the moment. Everything
Sure.
just sort of like it's always like a lot of like smoke and mirrors and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's
like
yeah.
yeah, just like I don't know, a lot of it like I don't see the utility in it right now. Maybe in the future, but for the most part, I'm very comfortable where I'm at now. But I don't want to be comfortable forever, because that's how you get complacent.
Sure, right. You want to have that little bit of edge. Do you feel like you'd have to give up some kind of creative control or other kinds of control to join with a major? Like, would it be a trade-off that you're not interested in or something like that?
Yeah, it's definitely that, and also like I haven't found a deal that like monetarily appeals to me either.
Sure.
It just seems kind of like a lot of labels just want to, take from the artist and not really offer much else
Yeah.
aside from like the thinly veiled promise of exposure.
Right. Right. And promotion. Well,
Yeah,
yeah. As I'm sure you know, there's a long history of musicians being taken advantage of by
right.
record labels. Do you think? I mean, the music business has changed a lot. Do you think we're in a better position now because you're able to promote yourself independently without needing a gatekeeper like a label to get you out there? What do you think about all that?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think where we're standing now is like the best time for an independent artist.
Yeah,
Like
right. Yeah.
it's great. Like you can have a kid in school, or like in high school or something like that, who doesn't really have the means to like try to talk to a label or something like that, or you have like a small town kid who can't go to the big cities and talk to these labels. It's more so like you can just be doing it from your bedroom and just upload it to the internet, where you have a global scale
Right.
of millions of possibly even billions of people, and yet everybody has access to it, which is amazing. And I think it's great. I don't think I definitely think that labels can still play a utility like once you get to a certain point, but for starting out, like all these independent artists right now, they don't need it, and that's like the coolest thing in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree. I'm sure that scares the labels too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Let's see. How how do you feel like you cut through all the other artists out there to get fans? Like, I noticed you have millions of monthly Spotify listeners. Yeah, how do you feel like you connected with the fans and got things going?
I don't know. I mean, I would definitely say it's just like being honest and being uh your truest version of yourself. That's really the best way I could put it, is that like, a lot of people who don't see a lot of success or something like that, it's like an issue of individuality as an artist, and everything. And I think that like in order to really get people into what you're doing, is just to be your unapologetic self. Like don't try to look at the formula for what's successful. Just do what you enjoy doing. And like whenever, well, I feel like humans like seeing people immersed and in love with their art, and that energy will like transfer it's like reciprocated by the audience, that
Yeah,
like people just love to see people passionate about something.
I
And I think,
absolutely 100% agree with that. That's
yeah.
cool. Let's see. What was my next question? What sort of gear do you use, like software, production stuff, to make what you do?
So it's like whenever I'm at home, it's super DIY. It's like barely anything at all. Like whenever I'm cranking out demos and stuff, I use some like horrible $20 USB mic just to get ideas down for like vocals and
Oh
stuff.
yeah. Uh-huh.
I produce everything through FL Studio, so it's just like you know, you can pretty much have FL Studio on almost any device, like on a laptop or a PC. Like at the moment, I'm using some just random PC I bought off of Best Buy for like $800. Just a real like baseline, you know, run of the mill thing. For recording guitar, I use like a Focusrite. But then like whenever I get into album mode, I record all these demos and I take them to a studio, and from there, I don't know the equipment that Andrew Wade has. He's like my engineer, and he's kind of like a legend in the rock scene. He's
Oh, nice.
pretty great. He did A Day to Remember, but yeah, so he has just this plethora of equipment, and every time I go there, I feel like a kid in a candy store because I can like make anything. You know,
I have FL Studio on one of my cheap laptops as well.
yeah,
Is he in Florida as well?
yeah, he's also in Orlando.
Nice. How do you think your music has changed since you started and up till now?
I would say like it's gotten better because one of the problems about like starting out as like a high schooler, you know, with music and everything is like my audience has seen my journey from like just starting music to now, which like it's honestly kind of cool. Like people get to see, you know, me making like terrible songs or just like figuring it out, like learning as I go. And but yeah, like whenever I started out, it was definitely like an awkward kid trying to understand how rap works
Right.
and like learning how to like flow properly and stuff. And but as that like journey has gone on, I've started to like experiment more and figure out like my musical stylings and stuff, like the latest album I dropped, Lonely Vibes. Like I'm sort of this is the first album where I'm like wearing my inspirations on my sleeve, or like the artists that I love. Like it's just cool seeing or like it's cool having the ability to make like the music that I've always wanted to make and finally have like the means to do so, or like the artistic ability to do so.
Right. Yeah.
Like delving more into the rock sound and stuff that I've always wanted to do, like since I was a kid.
Nice. Right. Right. Yeah. Like the inspirations you told me about. Yeah. I listened to some of the songs from each of your albums, and I see what you're talking about, from like the early kind of like dubsteppy almost stuff until now, where it seems more like confessional and more sort of songwriting almost. There was one track I listened to, I think it was Omens, but you did an incredible job kind of rapping at a lower level and then kind of increased the volume as the music came up. Anyway, I was impressed. It seems like in some of your music you talk about mental health struggles. Do you want to talk about any of that at all? I'd be interested to hear if you are comfortable talking about that.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Yeah, so what would you, I don't know, what would you say to your fans? Because I bet your fans connect with you on that level. Like, what would you say to your fans about just struggling in life?
Well, yeah, I think like a lot of people feel alone in their struggles, and everything, and I think like what I'm trying to do at least is to like help people not really feel as alone with their problems, because like even though on songs I'm talking about, you know, like problems specific to me, it can still help people see that like oh hey, this successful rapper also deals with problems.
Right.
You know, maybe it's not so grim looking for me if it turns out that even like someone with a certain level of success can also deal with that, you know. And yeah, I mean, I definitely like that's a big part in why I do music. That's a big part in why I'm like obsessively working all the time, is knowing that I have an audience of people who are looking to somebody for like guidance in a way. It's like guidance and just a sense of like security, like a safe space in a way, or like a just an escape from the terrible parts of life.
Yeah, and that's great. And I noticed one of your albums is called "You're Not Alone," and as someone who's also struggled a bit with these things, it's like that is so key to know, because nobody is the only person struggling, in the way that they're struggling. Everyone's got it individually, but yeah, nobody's quite alone.
Yeah.
Let's see. So when I found out that you were interested in being interviewed, when Shine On kind of reached out to my radio station about it, it made me wonder, what do you want to say, like, to people, like, what besides my questions, like, what do you want to say to the world?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm still figuring that out as I navigate life and everything. Like a lot of what I have to say is really in the music, and through like doing interviews and stuff. I typically don't do interviews. I haven't done them for since I started music back in like 2015. Like I always like to just like talk through the music and put a spotlight on that as much as possible.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I am a little on the spot with that question for sure.
Oh, sure. Yeah. And I was just curious, like, yeah, because I was just wondering if you had something kind of like in mind that you wanted to show the world, especially now that you're doing interviews again. But yeah, no worries. How's this whole pandemic thing affected your work?
Well, like I definitely don't want to sound like like not aware of the problems that people are facing, but for me, I've sort of thrived in this because the way that I've worked for my entire career has been relatively remote and on the internet and stuff. So
Right.
like when the world shut down, it was sort of like everybody was like freaking out about being,
Yeah.
like stuck at home and stuff, and they don't know how to like sit
Deal
in
with
their
that.
own like sit in their own thoughts and everything. And I was sort of like, well, I've been doing this for years. This is kind of
Yeah, me too, man. I'm kind of an introvert, and when my job was like, you got to stay home, but we'll pay you, I was like, okay, this sounds like the best thing that's ever happened to me.
yeah. So yeah, my like day to day in terms of like how I work and everything didn't really change a whole lot. And the only thing that happened was like touring was off the table, and it still sort of is at the moment, just because like I want to monitor everything, and I want to like if I tour again, I want to do it responsibly, and
Sure. Right.
and like I see a lot of festivals and stuff going on, and it kind of freaks me out a little bit, seeing
Yeah.
all those people there with the rates still over 100,000 a day. So like
Uh-huh.
I'm just sort of waiting around just to see what like when the numbers go down, whenever the numbers go down, I definitely want to get back on the road, because that's the one thing I missed during COVID was touring.
Sure. Did you tour a lot before?
Yeah, like so like I never did live shows up until I think I had like over 1 million monthly listeners on Spotify, and like so like I first started touring in 2019, and like right as I'm getting in the groove of doing live shows and stuff and understanding how they work and everything, then the world goes on lockdown a year later.
Right.
So like I toured pretty much all of 2019. Like I toured in it was February, April, and then I took the summer off, and then it was September, October, November.
Was that nationally, internationally, both?
Yeah, in I believe yeah, in January actually I did a UK tour, and that was really cool. Yeah.
Do you enjoy the live experience, like being on stage and all that?
Yeah, I always had like a love-hate relationship with it, because the one aspect of like live shows that I didn't like was the whole like physically being above somebody. It just feels weird.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it like it gives you a weird like power dynamic that I don't
Sure.
really like. I almost wish that stages were just like equal or something like that.
Yeah.
But like yeah, the doing live shows was super fun. I think that like whenever I was doing them, it was before I had management. So like I'm interested to see how a properly run tour goes, because whenever I was doing it in 2019, it was like really DIY, and like we had no idea what we were doing, trying to run it and stuff, you know, just um a lot of money spent stupidly trying to figure out, you know, how to tour and everything. But yeah, it was super fun. Like one of my favorite things to do, which, you know, after COVID I don't think it's very likely, but one of my favorite things to do would be to like go into the crowd and like perform in the crowd,
Oh, cool. Yeah.
and like actually like look at everybody's face and stuff. It was just cool to see, you know, like that I can like connect with my fans outside of just them streaming a song. It's more so like I can actually be there with them, and it feels almost spiritual in a way.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
it's kind of cool. It reminds me of like you know, those like really intense churches with like snakes and stuff,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they're like speaking in
Totally.
tongues.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some kind of parallel between shows and that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that great to go from, you know, only knowing your fans online to then seeing them in person? How was that transition for you?
Yeah, it was scary at first, like
Sure.
because again, I'm an introvert. I'm very comfortable and staying at home and just working
Mhm.
and like dropping the music and stuff, and just sort of like you know, like not seeing that like actual face-to-face reaction to songs was always something that I like wanted to
Right.
end up seeing. But yeah, it was scary at first, like the month before I was like terrified of going on
Sure.
stage and doing all that stuff, and then after like the first show, I like it was immediate, like I knew exactly how to do everything. It was weird, like I had never done it before, but then I got on stage and I was like, yep, this is what I'm doing for the rest of my life.
That's awesome. Yeah, well, and that's how it goes, isn't it? I know that process of being terrified to doing something. Then once you're doing it, you're like, oh yeah, okay, this is cool.
Right.
This might be my last question because I think my session will end shortly. But just a UK question because I'm a big fan of English electronic music. Where
Mhm.
did you go? Where did you tour in the UK?
It was we went to Scotland. Like we did a show in Glasgow.
How was that? That's where. How was
Dude,
that?
Scotland is beautiful. I would
It is.
love.
I went. Yeah, isn't it? I went there a couple years ago and was like, wow.
Yeah, it's insane. Like I understand that Lord of the Rings was in New Zealand, but like the mountains out there, it reminds me so much of Lord of the Rings.
Dude, yeah.
It's so beautiful. Yeah, yeah, we went to like Glasgow, a bunch of shows near like the we did like two back-to-back shows in London. And London was pretty cool. Yeah, I definitely like the UK. Like I could see myself like settling down there in a few years. Like
I hear you,
it's
man. I
just
love it there too. I have
yeah.
a good friend in Bristol, which is a good music town as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, well, I think thanks, Josh. I appreciate you doing this, and yeah, thanks for linking up with me on this.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It was a good conversation. I
Good,
liked it.
thanks. Good, I'm glad. Well, I hope you have a good day, sir.
Yeah, you too, man.
Thanks. Bye.
See you.
Awesome. Thanks, Jesse.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's it. Thanks, Cassie.
Cool. Thanks so much. We'll chat soon.
See you
Bye.
guys.
Bye.